Hey chicos, today we're going to read a new story. It's not a story, actually, it is an article, un artículo. So I want to show you what we're going to be reading together, and then also I'm going to read for you, okay? So today, the reading is Behind the Bulk. It is an informative article. Also very important, it is nonfiction, okay? So it has a point of view. And in this case, it's third person point of view. Third person is important because it is about someone else. So they are not telling their own story, they are telling a story about someone else. So for example, when we read the text, you will see pronouns like he or his, because they are talking about a boy named Craig. Also, you can see you will find quotes because they interviewed the person they are talking about, so that we know what he thinks. And then also included are some facts or some science to show about the topic. Okay, and then we're going to practice making inferences, right? And similar to what we did in class before, remember this is our always our strategies. We plan, we monitor, we determine importance. Today is the emphasis, make inferences. Of course, you can always ask questions, you can always make connections, synthesize, and visualize. So the inferences we are going to make are based on what they tell us and then what we think that is about. So for example, if we know that action figures have big muscles, then we can infer, we can start to think about, oh, Craig wanted to have big muscles because it is connected, okay? So also just remember as we are reading, I'm going to pause so that we can see some of those inferences, okay? All right, so the story or the article is called Behind the Bulk by Kate Bailey. And it is connected to the story you were supposed to read last week, Heartbeat. Remember about Dave and how he was wanting to be bigger. And so this is connected. Okay, I will start. Every time he passed a mirror, Craig flexed his muscles. He wanted to look insanely big, like an action figure. When I walk into a room, I wanted heads to turn, he says. People did not notice Craig's 225-pound, 5'9" frame. But what they didn't see was the physical damage and the psychological turmoil going on inside. The story behind the bulk was 5 years of steroid abuse and struggle with muscle dysmorphia. Muscle dysmorphia is a condition in which a person has a distorted image of his or her body. Men with this condition think that they look small and weak, even if they are large and muscular. Okay, so then again, we are trying to infer. So, what was he thinking? And then what is it that he was doing to maybe try to get bigger and bigger and maybe use steroids and abuse steroids? So, it is a drug that makes people bigger, but not in a healthy way. Okay, all right, so I am here. Illegal and grim. It all started when Craig was 18. Before a summer trip to Orlando, Florida, he was feeling overweight. He wanted to look good, so he resolved to get fit. Running on the treadmill, he slimmed down fast, losing 20 pounds in a month. I wish I could lose 20 pounds in a month. Okay. But lean wasn't Craig's ideal. I wanted people to say, that guy's huge. He lifted weights and experimented with steroidal supplements, also called dietary supplements. These drugs promise to build muscles despite potential risks and unclear effectiveness. They can be bought legally over the counter at many stores, but what Craig was looking for couldn't be bought in a store. So he turned to anabolic steroids. Anabolic steroids have some legitimate medical use when taken under a doctor's supervision, but to use steroids for muscle building in a healthy body is illegal. This didn't stop Craig. Neither did the many grim potential side effects. Craig thought he knew exactly what he was getting into. Like 5% of high school seniors and an estimated hundreds of thousands of adults, he took steroids anyway. Okay, so we can infer that he understands there's something wrong, not good about steroids, but what does he want? Yes, to get, big, or he thinks he needs to be bigger. I will let you read this part on your own, but I'm going to read the information from the article. You can look at the graphics later. Okay, heart problems. Craig's appearance was that important to him. The scale was my enemy. Every pound meant so much to me, he says. Craig constantly compared himself to others. He drove his friends and family crazy, asking, "Is that guy bigger than me? What about that guy?" He never had complete satisfaction. Some days I'd be arrogant, wearing shorts to show off my quads. Other days I'd be a disaster. On those days, I'd have to wear big, baggy clothes. Craig's steroid use escalated over time. He had begun by taking oral steroids, or pills, exclusively. But when he heard that injectable steroids were more effective, he overcame a fear of needles. At his worst, he was injecting 3 to 4 times and taking 10 pills a day. Oh. The drugs took their toll. It means they had, a lot of damage. Craig's hair fell out. Acne, pimples, popped up all over his back. His face swelled. Then something even more serious happened. He started having chest pains. So this is just some examples of how it can affect your body. I will also let you see later. Okay, I'm going to just read the ending. New priorities. Craig was having other problems too. Craig, then 25, was screaming and yelling at his wife a lot. Ultimately, his marriage ended. He lost a custody battle over his 1-year-old son, Jake. Craig's wife said that Craig couldn't see their child until he passed a drug test. This was the moment when everything changed for Craig. He knew he had to quit. On Father's Day, Craig went cold turkey. That means he stopped completely. He knew he needed help, so his parents found him a psychiatrist who treated him through the better part of a year. Today, Craig's priorities have changed. He still wants to be a head turner, but for a different reason. Now, I'd rather be walking into a room with my son and have people thinking, wow, he's the greatest dad in the world. Okay, so that is the reading for this week. Also, there is some tips if you want to learn about, exercising, and also if you want to check out the details from the graphics, and then the questions are posted on Schoology. Okay.